She hurt too much. Phyllis overhears Kane and Victor plan. Then she's eliminated. The night that changed Genoa City started quietly. It was the kind of quiet that happens before a big storm comes and messes everything up. Phyllis Summers was not supposed to be at Newman Enterprises when it was closed. She reminded herself of this as she walked down the hallway. Her heels made a clicking sound on the shiny floor. The sound was louder than she wanted it to be. Phyllis Summers has always trusted her instincts. Sometimes her instincts get her into trouble. Something did not feel right to Phyllis Summers. Kane Ashby was watching Victor Newman closely. He was always asking Victor Newman a lot of questions that he should not be asking. The strange thing was that Victor Newman was not getting angry with him. This really scared her. Phyllis knew that when Victor Newman was not arguing with someone in public, it meant that he was thinking about something in private. When Victor Newman thought about something in private, it usually meant that someone was going to get hurt. Victor Newman was a man who always got what he wanted, and Phyllis was worried about what would happen to Kane Ashby. She came to talk to Victor. Maybe it was Kane she wanted to see, or maybe she just wanted to know for sure about this bad feeling in her stomach. She did not think she would find out something that people usually do not survive. The voices reached her before she got to the door. The voices were really loud. They reached her. She had not even opened the door yet. The voices reached her. The voices from the side of the door reached her. Victor's voice was really easy to recognize. It was low and calm, in a scary way. This kind of calm makes big guys back off without realizing it. Then Kane started talking. He sounded nervous. Also really wanted to show that he was important. Phyllis stopped moving outside the conference room. Her hand was a few inches away from the door handle. Everything inside her was telling her to leave. She did not listen. She leaned in closer to hear what Victor and Kane were saying. Victor said that I wanted this partnership. He told me that partnerships need us to give up some things. Victor said this because he knows that partnerships require sacrifices. Victor kept talking about the partnership, saying that we have to make sacrifices for the partnership. Kane let out a breath. I am aware of the risks. I do not want to back out of this. Victor laughed. It was really quiet and not funny at all. He said, good. Because we cannot back out now. Backing out is no longer something we can do. Phyllis' heart started to beat fast. She looked down the hallway. It was empty. There was no security around. No one was watching. It was Phyllis, the door, and a secret that Phyllis already felt was too much for her to keep to herself. Kane spoke again. This time he spoke quietly. The evidence is perfect. Once people see it, there is no way they can deny it. Newman Enterprises will be okay. Chancellor Winters will be in trouble. The problems that come from this. Victor said that it will be really bad. He meant it. That is what he wanted to say. That is the point, Victor said. Phyllis' breath caught in her throat. She thought of Chancellor Winters. Then Lily came to mind. Devon. Billy too. These were names of people who were important to her. They were people Phyllis cared about much. They were people who trusted Phyllis. Her hand tightened up into a fist. Kane hesitated. He said, there is one thing that I want to talk about. The thing is. Victor's tone got sharper. He said, go on. Kane said that there is damage. This means someone could figure out what is going on if they get suspicious. The person could connect the dots. That would be bad. Kane is talking about damage and the person who could connect the dots. Victor did not miss a beat. Then the people in question will not. The room fell silent. It was like everyone in the room just stopped talking at once. The room was really quiet. There was no noise in the room. The silence in the room was pretty weird. The room was silent. Phyllis' heart was beating loud in her ears. She knew what that kind of silence meant. She had heard it before, like the time Victor Newman hurt someone badly without even touching them. Phyllis moved her weight a little. The floor made a small noise, which was a dead giveaway that she was nervous. The silence was still there. Phyllis was waiting to see what Victor Newman would do next, because she knew that Victor Newman was not a person to be trusted. Inside the room, everything just stopped. It was like time had stopped moving for the room. The room was still. Everything in the room had stopped. Victor's voice was really cold and precise. He said, "Did you hear that?" in a calm way. Victor's words sounded scary because his voice was so cold. Phyllis stepped back fast. Her heel made a scraping sound on the marble floor. The door opened up before Phyllis could even try to run from it. Victor Newman stood there, his eyes locked onto hers with a clear look. Nobody said a word. For half a second, the color went out of Kane's face. Phyllis made herself smile because that is what she always did when things got bad. She had been in a lot of spots before, and she knew that acting like everything was okay was the best way to get through it. "Well," Phyllis said in a tone, "this place looks like a nice home." Victor did not return the smile. He asked, "How long were you standing there?" "Enough," she said quickly, her heart beating really fast, "to know that this conversation is not going to end well for a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, like the people we care about, the people who are going to get hurt because of this conversation, and that is what is really scary about this conversation." Kane stepped forward. He was really scared. "Phyllis, please listen to me. This is not what you think it is, Phyllis," he said. She laughed in a sad way. "Oh, Kane, this is what I think. It is even worse." Victor closed the door behind her slowly and calmly. The sound of the door closing was very loud, like a noise. "You should not have come to this place," Victor said to her. Phyllis looked at him, her eyes burning with anger even though she was scared inside. "You should not have thought I was not a threat," she said to him, meaning that Phyllis was not someone to be underestimated. For a moment it seemed like Victor might really think she was brave. Then his face. He looked tough again. Victor did not look impressed with her all, and Victor just seemed to get angrier. "The man told me that I heard much," he said it in a simple way. The words landed heavy. That was final. The words really landed heavy. That was the final thing that happened. Kane swallowed hard. "Victor, maybe we can try to do something," Kane said to Victor. Victor said no. "Stop the conversation. This has to end," Victor said. Phyllis' mind was over the place. She really needed something to use against them, some kind of leverage. She also needed a lot time. "You cannot make Phyllis disappear," she said to them. "People are going to notice that Phyllis is gone." Victor stepped close to her, getting right in her face. "People see what I want them to see," he said, his voice serious, like he was sharing a secret about the people around them and what they notice about Victor himself. She looked at his face, wanting to see if he was unsure or if he had feelings. He did not have any of that. She was looking for something, anything, in his face. But his face was empty. It had no emotion, no feeling, no humanity. Kane did not look well. He said, "She is not part of this deal." Victor turned to the man slowly. "The woman is now." Phyllis took a step back. Panic finally set in. She was really scared now. "You are making a mistake with Phyllis," Phyllis said. Victor's voice was really quiet now. He said, "No, Phyllis, you are the one who did that." Security showed up out of nowhere like Victor had called them himself. There were two men. They did not show any feelings, they just looked very professional. Phyllis took a step back, shaking her head. "Victor, if you do this, you will do something that security will not let you take back." Victor did not flinch. He said, "I crossed that line a long time ago, decades ago." The guards moved in. They were the security guards. The security guards moved into the place where the security guards were needed. The security guards took their positions. The security guards were ready to do what the security guards had to do. Phyllis fought. She had to. She was clawing and screaming. Her threats were loud. They echoed down the hall. She was saying things like, "You will not get with this," and "Nick will destroy you," and "Summer will never forgive Phyllis' enemies." Phyllis was really mad. She wanted everyone to know it. She kept saying that Nick and Summer would take care of the people who were doing this to Phyllis. Victor just stood there, watched without feeling anything as they put the handcuffs on her. He did not seem to care that she was being restrained. The woman was now unable to move because of the handcuffs that Victor watched them put on her. Kane turned away. He could not bear to watch. The guilt was over his face. You could see it in every line of his face. Kane just felt so bad about what was happening. The guilt was really getting to him, and that is why he turned away, because he did not want to see it. He did not want to watch what was going on with Kane having to feel this way. Victor told them to take her to the car. He said they should make it look like she had an accident. Victor wanted it to seem like it was not, On purpose. Take her to the car. Make sure it looks like an accident. That is what Victor said to do with her. Phyllis' eyes snapped back to his eyes. She said, "You are a monster." Victor leaned in close to her, so close that only she could hear what he was saying. He said, "This is business." The doors closed behind her. She was really alone now. The sound of the doors closing was very loud. The doors had closed behind the woman. She could not go back. Hours later, the people of Genoa City were all asleep. They had no idea that Phyllis Summers was fighting for her life on a road just outside of town. It was a road that was really slippery because of all the rain. The news of what happened to Phyllis Summers would spread fast. A car had gone off the road. You could not see well because of the rain. It was an accident. Phyllis Summers was dead when the police got to the scene. In the morning, the shockwaves started to happen. The morning was when the shockwaves began. Nick felt something was wrong before he even heard the news. It was like an empty space in his chest. The world seemed to be leaning to one side. Summer fell into his arms. She was screaming. She just could not believe what happened. Jack was standing there. He did not move. He felt really bad about what happened. It just kept getting worse. Diane said that Summer and Jack and Nick and Diane, they all knew that something was not right about this situation. Nick and the others were very upset. Summer was still. Nick was trying to help her. At Newman Ranch, Victor stood at the window. He was staring out into the darkness. His face was completely unreadable. You could not tell what he was thinking. Victor was just standing there looking out at the darkness, at Newman Ranch. Nikki watched him closely. "Tell me you did not do this thing," she said to him, looking at him with a lot of concern, thinking about what had happened and wanting to know if he was involved in it, if he had really done this thing that she was talking about. Victor did not answer. Somewhere deep in the wreckage there was a lot of twisted metal and shattered glass all over the place. In the middle of all this mess, Phyllis' fingers moved. But one time it was a very small movement. Because in Genoa City, death was never the end. It was only the beginning. The news about Phyllis Summers spread like crazy over Genoa City. By the middle of the morning, every single screen at Crimson Lights was showing the thing. The same words that felt really weird to read no matter how many times you saw them. Phyllis Summers is dead because of a terrible car accident. When Sharon saw this, she dropped the mug of coffee she was holding. The mug hit the floor, made a loud noise, and people started staring, but Sharon did not even notice. Her hands were shaking really badly as she looked at the picture of Phyllis Summers. Phyllis Summers was smiling and looked happy and full of life in that picture. It was hard to believe that Phyllis Summers was really gone. Sharon shook her head slowly, whispering, "No, that is not right." She had buried many people in this town, and she knew when something did not make sense. The things that were happening in this town, they just did not make sense. Sharon thought about all the funerals she had been to, all the people she had said goodbye to, and this situation, it just did not add up. This situation with the people in this town, it did not add up all. At the Newman Ranch, everything felt really bad. Summer was sitting on the couch. She was very stiff, just staring ahead. Her eyes were all red and empty. Nick was standing near Summer. He did not know what to do. He was feeling very sad. He was also getting very angry, but he did not know why he was angry yet. Nikki was standing near them. Her arms were crossed. She was watching Victor walk around the room. He was taking steps. Nikki thought that Victor knew something that he was not telling them, and not knowing what it was really bothering her. The silence was really getting to her. It was like it was eating away at her. Nikki finally asked, "Are you not going to say something?" Victor stopped walking forth. He turned around to face her. "What do you want me to say?" Nikki said that Phyllis is dead. "She told me that is what everyone else is saying. Nikki wants to hear about Phyllis from me. Nikki really wants me to tell her what happened to Phyllis." Victor's jaw got really tight. He said accidents happen, and that was it. Victor was not going to talk about it because accidents do happen to people like Victor. Nick's head jerked up. He said, "That is it." His voice was shaking because he was so angry. Phyllis Summers died in a car crash. All they could say was that accidents happen. Nick was talking about Phyllis Summers. He wanted to know more about what happened to Phyllis Summers. Victor looked back at his son without looking away. He said, "What's your tone?" to his son. Nick jumped up from his seat. "No. I do not want to watch anything. She was the mother of my child. If you were involved in this." Victor said, "What is that supposed to mean?" You are going to make accusations about something that Victor knows you cannot prove about the accusations. Summer finally got up. Moved. She stood up slowly. Her legs felt really shaky, but her eyes were filled with a hurt that was so real it made everyone in the room stop talking. If you are hiding something from me, Summer said in a voice, I will figure it out. And when I do find out, I promise you Summer will never forgive you for it. Summer will always remember what you did. Victor's face changed for a moment. Then it went back to normal. He said, you are feeling emotional. That is okay. No, Summer said. Her voice is shaking. My mother is. That is something I can deal with. What I do not get is why you are not surprised that my mother is gone. You should be surprised that my mother is gone, but you do not seem to be. That really landed. Nikki watched Victor closely. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She had been living with Victor for a time, so she knew him well enough to recognize the signs when something was not right. The way Victor avoided talking about the details of things. The way Victor always tried to control what people were talking about. The way Victor did not want to talk about his feelings. This was not Victor being sad about something. This was Victor trying to fix a problem that he had caused. The thing that Nikki saw was damage control by Victor. Across town, Jack Abbott was by himself in his office at Jabot. He was staring out the window. The rain was coming down the glass like tears. Jack Abbott thought about Phyllis. He remembered the way she laughed. He remembered how loyal she was to him. He remembered her spirit. Jack Abbott hit his fist on the desk. He was very angry and sad. He thought about the fight they had. They had said some things to each other. They had not said sorry to each other. Now Jack Abbott thought it was too late. There would not be any chances for Jack Abbott and Phyllis. This is not the end, Jack said slowly. It cannot happen like this. The situation is very bad. Jack thought about the situation. Said, this is really not it. It is not supposed to be like this. Diane stood in the doorway, not really sure what to do. She said Jack softly, like she was not sure if she should be talking to him or not. He turned around. His eyes were blazing with anger. She was in a lot of trouble, Diane. I knew she was in trouble. I did not do enough to help her, Diane. I feel bad about that. She was in trouble. I should have done more. Kane Ashby was sitting by himself in a room that was not very bright. He was staring at his phone. There were a lot of messages he had not read. He also had a lot of missed calls. He did not look at any of them. Kane Ashby's hands were shaking. He kept thinking about what Victor said to him. You heard much? He could still hear Phyllis being dragged away. Her scream was still echoing in his mind. It was a bad feeling. Kane Ashby did not want to be a part of this. He wanted power. Not if it meant blood. The power was one thing. Blood was something entirely different. Kane Ashby was not comfortable with this all. He said this loud even though there was nobody around to listen. The woman was not supposed to die, he thought to himself. He kept thinking about the woman and how she was not supposed to die. Somewhere far away from Genoa City, away from all the bad news and the sadness, the truth was slowly coming back out. It was like the truth was fighting to get to the top and be seen again. It was finally starting to happen. The truth was coming back to the surface. It was going to change everything in Genoa City. Darkness. Pain. Then sound. Phyllis went in and out of being awake. Her body hurt bad when she tried to move. The smell of the hospital was around her. It was that strong smell of antiseptic that you always notice. There were machines beeping all the time. It was like music. Phyllis wanted to open her eyes, but they felt like they were stuck shut. It was really hard to lift them. The doctor said she is stable. This was a man. I did not know his voice. He also said she is barely stable. Someone else spoke up. Their voice was really low. They sounded like they were in a hurry. Victor wants to know for sure. Phyllis' mind was really having a hard time catching up. She thought about Victor. The car they were in. The road they were on. The crash that was not an accident. Phyllis felt panic through her body and she made herself open her eyes. She took a breath and gasped. The crash was on her mind. She could not stop thinking about Victor and the car and the road. The room was a little blurry at first. Then it got clearer. I saw walls and the lights were not very bright. There were no windows. A man who was wearing scrubs just stood there when he saw the woman was awake. He said the woman is awake now, she is conscious. Before she could say anything, a sharp pain shot through her chest. She let out a groan, her voice sounded really hoarse. Where am I? She asked slowly. The man stopped for a moment. You are safe. Phyllis laughed a little. She said that is a lie. The door. Another man came in. He was not a doctor or a nurse. This man wore a nice suit and his eyes were not friendly. He said to me, you are stronger than you seem.